Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Scott Johnson with Pitt Home Buyers. I just wrote an article regarding for sale by owner signs, and I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of give you guys a little synopsis. That way, you don't have to necessarily read the article. You can just watch this short, distinct video, and it'll kind of get you right to the point. Now, obviously, the market's going absolutely crazy right now. People are buying up houses like it's going out of style. Interest rates are at rock bottom levels, which, hopefully it'll stay that way for longer. But what's happening is people are cashing out, doing cash out refinances. They're getting more properties so they can lock in that interest rate, or even moving up the time that they were going to be, they're going to buy a house now instead of waiting 5 or 10 years. Now, let's say you are looking to sell your property, all right, and you need to know, or you need to put up some for sale by owner signs. Here's a couple things that you need to make sure that you do so that the other signs from other properties, they won't get as much attention, but yours will. All right, so rule number one. Rule number one is make sure that any for sale by owner sign that is on a roadside is readable from the opposite side of the road. Meaning if I'm driving down the road in my right lane and the neighborhood is on my right, I need to make sure that if I'm driving in the opposite direction and I'm clear across the street, that I can slow down and see that sign and read it. On top of that, you need to make sure, or the next part is you need to make sure that your words are big enough. Obviously, that seems like elementary. Scott, why the hell are you talking about this stuff? It's a duh thing. But you would be surprised. I mean, I drive through Winterville, North Carolina right now, and I see signs where the type is like this big. I had to get out, park right next to the sign, and get out of my car just to read it. All right, now how are you going to get the big letters on the sign, though? Well, it's going to be by putting the information that is the most important based on the sign's location. All right, so let's take number one. You're in a neighborhood, and you're right off of a main road, main drag. All right, the sign, you're going to want a sign on the actual side of the main road that people can see. Now, that sign means this simple information: the street number and street name. That's all you need, because what's happening is you have the for sale by owner at the top, and then you put just in big letters, bold, the number and the street. That way, people can know exactly where they're going, type it into Google, and they can head straight to that house. That's all you need for the main street sign. Now, when you're going to need more information on the sign immediately in front of your house, because you need some way for people to contact you, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to have another for sale by owner sign at that house. And if you need to, you can get some of those mini directional signs that have an arrow pointing. And if your neighbors are okay with you putting one in their yard, just make sure to write the what on them, the street number and street name, and have it pointing in the correct direction, right? So once they get to your house, there's only a couple of things you need to put on that sign, all right? That's going to be the name of the person who is going to be taking the calls. Could be the property owner, could be a friend if you live out of state, could be anyone. Doesn't have to be a full name. It just needs to be a first name and the phone number. And what I like to do is I like to say tours by appointment only. Right, that way they don't come up there knocking on your door. Hey, can I see your house? No, there's a rhyme or a rhythm to everything that I do. So you can also put up there space, slots spots are limited, because look, you're busy. Right? You got stuff going on. Do you have time to sit there, leave work on your lunch break and go, set up or go do a tour for somebody who wants to do it in the middle of the day? Probably not. So by putting your name, the phone number in bold, large letters, and then underneath it can be a little bit smaller, right? Essentially call for a tour, or tours by appointment only. Limited spots available. Okay. That's going to get people more interested. So another thing, and this is kind of the last thing I need to cover here, because it's just such a duh thing, but it's so critical and a lot of people take it for granted. All right, look, I know that my handwriting sucks. It's horrible. egregious. Okay. I mean, I sit there, I write and take notes and stuff like that, and it's chicken scratch. I think I'm the only one who can actually read it. But I have accepted that. And I understand that if I'm writing on a sign that I want people to pay attention to, I'm not going to write it myself. What I'm going to do is find someone like, my mom and my sister have fantastic handwriting. Actually, that's pretty damn much it, because the rest of the family are guys. And, and we all have terrible handwriting. But a friend, a family member, somebody, just say, even a neighbor, hey, can you write this sign for me? I just can't write it very well because I have terrible handwriting. Just be honest, all right? Also, when you're picking out your pen, what I like to use is those really thick black markers. A lot of times with the felt tip, that's kind of like this right here. I don't know. It's like a squared off tip. That's going to give you a lot more surface area when you are writing, and that's going to make it seem bolder. If you have to use it again to get a little bit thicker on the outside, totally fine. Just make sure that they're large letters and legible. Listen, you guys, that's it for today. I really appreciate you coming out. I hope that helps. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Yes, ma'am.